You know those traveling salesmen from way back when? And they would sell the magic elixir. They'd come to town and they'd sell the magic elixir to all the townsfolk. And then when everybody had bought and paid the magic elixir, and they'd all drunk this snake oil, right? And they didn't get better. They didn't get better from their rheumatism or their cancer or whatever. And what happened to that traveling salesman? He was gone. He was gone with the dawn. That is what Donald J. Trump is. And he will be gone when the shit starts getting real. We have to understand something clearly about Donald J. Trump. He is a New York Republican. He is what is known as a Rockefeller Republican. Insofar as social issues is concerned, he is far to the left of mainstream republicanism, mainstream conservatism. He's pro-abortion, he's pro-gay rights, he's pro-affirmative action, he is, for all intents, a Democrat. Donald Trump is temperamentally more closely aligned to Hillary Clinton than to mainstream conservative thought, let alone the alt-right. Well, I keep saying that he is a used car salesman. He's a used car salesman who said whatever was necessary to win the presidency. Just like a used car salesman will do and say whatever is necessary to make the sale. That's what he did. He, in the Republican National Convention, correctly diagnosed the problems of the United States. But in the, 7-8 months since he's been president, what has he accomplished? Nothing really. Everybody keeps saying, who supports Donald Trump, that he's playing 4D chess and he's doing all these, weird elucubrations insofar as getting what he wants. What has he gotten? What has he gotten? He tried to do Obamacare, or fix Obamacare, or rescind it, and that didn't happen. He's done and tried different things. Pulling out of foreign adventures? Well, no, he's not really pulling out of foreign adventures, and now he's putting in more troops in Afghanistan. He keeps on firing his staff. His administration is a complete disaster. He keeps churning through people and not creating any kind of a coherent administration that can carry forth policy. Now that he is in the swamp, do you see him draining it? Do you see him having his attorney general bring charges up against the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, going after Wasserman Schultz for what is clearly some kind of weird blackmail, extortion, treason kind of thing going on there with the Anwan brothers, right? There's a whole host of things that should be prosecuted. Do you see any indictments coming down? Do you see any action by the Department of Justice? Now, 8 months into Trump's tenure, do you see anything going down that would lead you to believe that they are going to crack down on all the corruption and the cronyism going on in Washington? Do you see any of that? No, you do not. Why do you not? Because Trump doesn't want it to happen. Because he wants to get in good with these people. And that's why he cut a deal with Pelosi and Schumer over DACA and no wall. The problem is that he wants to be loved by Democrats, by Pelosi and Schumer. See? He wants to be in with that crowd. And everybody says that, no, he's not like that. Yes, it is, because that is the background that he comes from. Those are his people, and it drives him nuts that they hate his guts. He said yes to Pelosi and Schumer, and Pelosi and Schumer went down and said that, oh, we seem to have some sort of deal, no wall, and DACA is going to be turned into some sort of law, as opposed to an executive action, right? Executive order, rather. And then Trump, immediately when he realized how unpopular this was among his base, he came out and said, no, there's no deal, and bullshit. See, bullshit. He wants to cut a deal, see, with these people, and he is willing to sell out his base. I mean, that's what basically Pelosi and Schumer confirmed, that he was willing to sell out his base in order to cut a deal with the Democrats, because those people, he believes in them more than his own base. He has more in common with those people than with his own base. The DACA situation really turned off his base. It really hurt him among the people who had wholeheartedly supported him. Donald Trump is selling out his constituency, and they reacted as such. Even Breitbart had it as the lead news of how people are burning their MAGA hats, right? Because people are becoming disillusioned with this man because he's not one of them. He's not one of us. He doesn't believe in what we believe in. Because what he wants is to be loved. He doesn't want political power. He doesn't want to do anything as president. He just wants to be loved. He just wants the role of being president, right? But with none of the responsibilities or the hard decisions necessary to be president. There are a few people who still cling to the notion that Donald Trump is playing some sort of 4D chess. Principally among them, by the way, on YouTube is Sticks Hexenhammer 666, which I insist I respect him, but I think he is completely wrong. And his flip-flopping, Trump's flip-flopping on DACA proves it. When there is the economic downturn that is baked in the cake, by the way, that's going to happen now in the next 2-3 quarters on the outside. When that economic downturn happens, okay, if it's earlier, if it's before the end of this year, by March, Trump is resigning. He is resigning because he's just going to basically say that, oh, it's too difficult, blah, 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 and he's going to leave. That's what's going to happen before March. If the economic downturn takes a while and kicks in March, April, May, which is perfectly possible because the Federal Reserve is doing a lot of gymnastics in order to keep things afloat. I'm sorry for mixing my metaphors once again, but if that happens, then the 2018 election, it's not going to go that well, the midterms, and then he'll take the opportunity to quit. He doesn't have anything that he believes in. He just believes in whatever is necessary to make the sale, and now he's selling out his own people for the sake of getting in good with the Democrats. And he feels personally isolated in the White House. And everybody is starting to hate him because it's not just the Democrats who hate him. Now we have conservatives who are starting to hate him. And by the way, the alt-right and more extreme right-wing people are hating him, but that hatred is slowly but surely drifting more towards the right and the center right. It's going to continue until the whole country hates his guts, and he will resign. We have to start paying attention to Mike Pence. He is going to resign when he realizes that everybody hates him, and Mike Pence is going to be president. And this should trouble us greatly. Mike Pence, insofar as all the social issues, the privileged position for racial and sexual minorities and women, the issue of welfare and all the rest of it, he is a hard right, and he's my kind of guy. The problem is that Mike Pence is a creature of the oligarchy and of the multinational corporations. He was in favor of the Patriot Act. He was in favor of all of these foreign adventures, military adventures. He's going to continue with that and expand them. Mike Pence is a great politician in the sense that he knows how to bring people together and cut deals and make things happen, unlike Donald Trump. Mike Pence will be a more effective president than Donald Trump could ever hope to be. But Mike Pence will be in the pockets of the oligarchs. And he is not a friend of free speech, by the way. Mike Pence believes that the oligarchy, that the corporations are more important than individuals. Free speech will be eroded for the sake of profits, for the sake of money, as has been happening over the last few years with Google and Facebook and all the rest of it. We should be extremely concerned about the fact of who Mike Pence is. Mike Pence, the next president of the United States. Everybody's going to say, or anybody who's listening to this is going to say, oh, coach, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Trump isn't a quitter. Bullshit. He is a quitter. He's a quitter. Those traveling salesmen from way back when? And they would sell the magic elixir. They'd come to town and they'd sell the magic elixir to all the townsfolk. And then when everybody had bought and paid the magic elixir, and they'd all drunk this snake oil, right? And they didn't get better. They didn't get better from their rheumatism or their cancer or whatever. And what happened to that traveling salesman? He was gone. He was gone with the dawn. That is what Donald J. Trump is. And he will be gone when the shit starts getting real.